Cooking steak can be a little bit daunting with all the different options and price points. So whether you're buying a cheap or an expensive cut of steak, it's more about how you treat it and how you're cooking with it that's going to make the biggest difference. Even if it's a cheap steak, you can still get great results. Flat meat, woo woo. Not the sexiest name. This is similar to skirt steak or flank, but as those have become more popular, they're a little bit more expensive in the grocery stores now, so flap is a great option. It's a little bit different, as you can see. The texture is quite loose. That can be really great because it soaks up marinades really, really well. This one would work great for a marinade since it's going to take on so much flavor and all those little crevices. You don't have to do anything crazy, but adding just a little bit of low-sodium soy sauce, some fresh ground black pepper, and a few crushed cloves of garlic would be a great, simple marinade you can throw together really easily. I'm going to crack it open a little bit and just help the flavor release without having to do a lot of chopping or mincing. And you can let this sit in the marinade for anywhere from 30 minutes to overnight. And before you cook, you want to make sure that you dry off the marinade and get as much of it off as you can. If there's too much moisture left, the meat is going to steam when you put it on the hot skillet instead of getting a nice crispy crust. You can use any type of cooking oil, ideally something with a high smoke point. Once you're sure that your skillet and your oil are preheated, you can go ahead and carefully layer your steak in. Especially if you're new to cooking steak and you're not as comfortable just feeling the meat to see if it's done, it's always a good idea to have a kitchen thermometer on hand. The most foolproof way is to use a thermometer poking right into the center of the steak, which is going to be the coolest part. For a medium rare steak, you want to serve it at 135 degrees Fahrenheit, but you can take it off a few degrees earlier because it's going to carry over cooking slightly. No matter what steak you're cooking, you always want to let it sit for a good 5 to 10 minutes after it comes off. This is one that you definitely want to cut against the grain. Because those fibers are so loose, you can really see where they are. Just going to make sure that it's a little bit easier to chew, and it's going to be a nicer texture in your mouth. Some of the cheaper cuts of steak have a little bit of a stronger flavor, so they're great to use with marinades because that beef flavor can stand up to the flavors in a marinade.